And in that report, he must give the statistics and give detail of all of the wiretapping or all of the interception activity that they have conducted for the
I
year.
have a question though.
Certainly.
The Independent Monitoring Commission is made up of the Commissioner of Police and the Director General?
No, this is a separate body. So I'll get to the makeup in a moment, but I just wanted to give the audience the understanding of how they function within the system.
I understand. Okay.
I'll get to the makeup in a moment.
Okay,
so
thanks.
This commission gets the report from the commissioner. Now, a very curious thing that I want you to write down is that while the commissioner and the director general are categorized in the first instance together, if you remember in section 5, they were categorized as the authorized officers. When it comes to reporting, the legislation only provides or only mandates that the commissioner of police gives a report. There's a very curious thing, because here now you have one of those functionaries does not have to even report. So even before we get to what may be wrong with this guardrail, the director general is not named as having to give a report. So he is off somewhere out in the ether doing what he likes, not having to go to the judiciary, can effect wiretapping, and does not have to report on it. So he hit that post now becomes an island unto itself that can do anything. And one of the points that the opposition leader made in Parliament and on the program last night is that director general is appointed by a minister, is a political appointment. So you have a political appointment.
So the director general is a political appointee.
Yes, he is. And he can affect.
And he is not, and he does not report. He does not have to give that formal report to the Independent Monitor Commission, which is supposed to be the guardrail.
Correct.
Interesting. Guys, you're seeing that? I'm pausing because I want us to catch that, folks. Catch that. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So and I thought it a curious thing, because when a legislation takes time to group individuals or two individuals, that means that as the legislation continues, chances are you're going to see that grouping. So that grouping of authorized officer, one would think that when it comes to the reporting, the authorized officer would report, which means the commissioner has to report and the director general has to report. But when it came to the reporting, it's only the commissioner that has to report. Now let's talk about the composition of the commission and why this guardrail, while it's here, why I believe this guardrail fails to do what it's supposed to do. For that, you will need to go to page 41. So just
page 41.
41. Just have your producer go to 41.
Take the page numbers, guys, so that you can go do this review on your own, okay? Page 41. Go ahead, sir.
Now, this schedule, it outlines the composition and all of the powers of the Independent Monitoring Commission. Independent. It says that this Independent Monitoring Commission shall comprise of 3 members, as we can see here on your screen. One is a retired judge. The second member is someone who is a member of civil society. Again, very broad category. Now you are charging this commission, this 3-man commission, with the responsibility to safeguard the rights of all the citizens of this country. And the selection of this member of this committee is simply a member of civil society. In other words, one would imagine that you would be very specific in terms of the credentials that member has to bring to
That's a very good point there.
In order to exercise that function. Thirdly, and I want to point out again, just to, you see you have your semicolon, and you have the word and. You see, remember I told you could have or you could have and, which means it has to be all of those persons. So that's just a little legislative.
Yes, I see it now. I see what you're saying. I see it. I'm catching it.
I'm sure the next time you look at a piece of legislation, you see the word or, you're going to remember.
Yes, sir.
So you have a retired judge. Perfectly reasonable. Why?
Yes, makes
Because
sense.
he would have had a storied career of being a jurist with experience in the operation of reviewing and investigation. But then you have this member of civil society, anybody, that could be anybody. And then thirdly, if the member of civil society was not bad enough, you simply have a person nominated by the minister. A person,
Sorry,
anybody.
sorry, Mr. Greenidge, I'm laughing out loud in class. Don't put me at the back of the class.
I'll try
Listen,
not to.
this is to me. This is hilarious. Know that because I read it this evening. Honestly, I read it this evening. But now that you're here giving us the illumination, this I could see why you're saying that they need to take this back, carry it back, because this don't make no sense. A member, it can be any member of civil society and a person, a person.
A person, just a person, as long as it's not of the canine persuasion or the feline persuasion, it qualifies. So just a person, anybody. And you have no, this legislation has a guardrail. Not actually, it's more of a stopgap. So I consider the judiciary to be a guardrail, but this is a stopgap now at the end of the process that's supposed to be able to give you the final check. Let me see what you have done. And if you've not done the right thing, we are going to investigate. And it's any person. You don't bring them with any proper qualifications. And not just a person, Miss Weeks, a person nominated by the minister.
The minister. And now we go. But listen, I want to go back to B because I have a question, teacher. So a member of the civil society. So who will choose that member of civil society?
If your producer would just scroll down just a little bit.
I'm going ahead of the class.
You're going down. You're going ahead, but I
No.
okay. I
Okay.
don't mind an enthusiastic student. That you will get full points for participation.
I love it.
And again, to your listeners, we smile because not because it's funny. We are smiling because it is ridiculous. I want to emphasize that it is the ridiculousness that this government has brought this piece of legislation that has such serious implications and have not done what it needs to do in order to safeguard its citizens. It begs to a scant disregard for the individuals in our society. And I don't want to get too passionate. I want to just stick to the facts. If you scroll down a little, if your producer could just scroll down to section 2, just so I can answer this eager student's question, just scroll a little more. It says the commissioners shall be appointed by the minister. So all three are appointed by the minister. All three.
All three.
All three.
That's what Mr. Thorne was saying tonight.
That is what Mr. Thorne.
Oh my goodness. So all three folks, you see that the retired judge, right, Dave? All three, the retired judge and the member of civil society. Right. Any member, we don't know, they don't have to be qualified. It just says a member. Okay. Correct. And a person nominated by the minister, a person.
That's correct.
So the member of civil society, not a person. Anyway, a person nominated. So it's all by the minister.
Correct. And this
so
is why
all politically appointed then.
All politically appointed. And this is why this stopgap fails the smell test. If you're going to have a commission that is the final arbiter of what is proper or what has been done under this act, that arbiter, that grouping of people must in fact be independent. You cannot say that a minister in their discretion, their only purview, gets to appoint these people and then call them independent. That doesn't pass the smell test. On top of that, the minister is able to determine the salary of each of these individuals. It says that.
Yes.
Able to determine the salary. If you go to page 42, at the very top of page 42, the next page.
Page 42.
Next page, there you go. The commissioners shall receive such remuneration as the minister determines.
Ah, wow. Wow.
And if you understand how guardrails work, what you want to do, if there's somebody that's truly going to be independent, that is going to exercise a function that may rub the administration the wrong way. Remember, if these guys are going in and investigating the police and investigating the director general, they must have teeth. They must have some level of protection themselves. If the commissioner's salary is determined by the minister, how can they be independent? Because you're basically saying your paper is determined by me. So if I say to you, no, don't touch John Brown, no, I don't want you to investigate here, you can't be
Oh
independent.
my good. No, people, pause there, teacher. Let me get into another mode. The student, your student has, received the information, and let me just say something to the viewers, folks. Are we going to sit by and allow this political piece of, I don't even know, I don't want to use a word that is coming into my mind, to pass? Are we going to sit down and allow this political this thing here? I'm trying to get a word that makes sense and that's right to say on the program. We are going to sit down in Barbados and allow this to pass and allow this to be made into law in Barbados. As far as I'm concerned, this is worse than the cybercrime bill. Now I understand what Mr. Thorne is saying. This is worse than the cybercrime bill. So they didn't get their way with that. So this is what they're coming with. This is, oh my goodness. Over to you, teacher. Go ahead.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think we are at an inflection point in our society where the Barbadian people must allow their voices to be heard. The Barbadian people must understand the danger that is ahead. The responsibility of persons who are given the legal right to intercept your communication. It is very critical to understand how that communication is how that ability to intercept that communication is effective. It should and must and has to be under the scrutiny of the judiciary. It must come under the smell test. There must be evidentiary thresholds that are crossed in order to say, yes, you can go and wiretap and intercept communication. And if we haven't said it before, remember, if John Brown is going to be wiretapped or his communications are going to be intercepted, John Brown is not going to know. Even the application to the judiciary is by what we call an ex parte application. It means that John Brown is a party to that application, but we exclude him in the application. So that's why it's called ex parte. We exclude one of the parties to that application. So we then are sitting in, I'm not really one that's prone to hyperbole, but we are literally fish in a bowl at the whim and fancy of the Commissioner of Police and the Director General of the Anti-Corruption and Anti-Terrorism Agency. And then
by the minister.
All by the minister. And then while the legislation now comes and say, oh, no, we have a commission that is independent, that is going to look after your rights. But then that commission is a farce because it's appointed by the same minister, and there are no proper qualifications that commissioner had. If I were to opine and give a suggestion, first thing first, the retired judge, definitely, he has judicial experience, but the retired judge should be the chairman. If you look on your screen, it says the chairman shall be chosen from among the number of commissioners. So you see that random person in civil society, and you see that random political appointee, they could be the chairman of that commission.
Oh,
which
wow.
Which means that they
not
can
the retired judge who would have the experience.
Who would have the experience. This legislation is deeply flawed, deeply flawed. And you have an attorney general that stood up